Right, welcome everybody. Welcome to 100% LCFC. A bit of a special one tonight. We weren't planning to go live, but we've been chatting with Freddie from the Ugly Inside, who's a Southampton fanzine, very similar to us here at 100%. I'm going to bring him straight in. Freddie, can you see me?
Hello, Phil. Yeah, I can see you, mate.
Great, fantastic. How are you guys?
Not too bad. Just waiting for the weekend, really. The week's already begun, but bank holiday this weekend. You can't go wrong.
Nice bank holiday. Nice time for one of us teams to get 3 points, isn't it?
Hopefully us.
I'm just going to put on our screen now. We're doing this live. I'm just asking the fans here what questions you got. So let's have a hello. I normally say hello to a few people who are watching. So Anthony Howard's watching. Hi to you. Jason Clare, what do you want to ask Freddie? Saints fan. Casey Robertson, hello, how are you? And Dipak is watching. Hi, Dipak. Get some questions into Freddie. Hopefully, he can hear us both well. Let us know what you want to do. Freddie, so Saturday, it's Leicester down at Saints. You've had a bit of a mixed start, haven't you guys? Or are you quite happy with your start?
A little bit underwhelming, Phil. A point at home to Burnley should have been our bread and butter, but we should have capitalised on sort of Burnley's fitness, stretched in Europa League. That was a 0-0, and then sort of a game of 2 hours, if you like, the weekend against Everton. Slow starts for both the games, and then sort of when we tried to get back, it was too little, too late. Perhaps we feel like we should have come away from Everton with a point. But I think probably at the end of the day, Everton were perhaps the better side on Saturday.
Yeah, you think Everton are going to be a team maybe to watch, maybe progress on from where they got last season?
I think so. I think Marco Silva's got some progressive ideas, but my fear about Everton is that perhaps Marco Silva's head is easily turned. So we'll see what happens. But for me, Everton have got big pressure. Again, spent big. And, you know, they showed a bit of that at the weekend with Richarlison popping up with another goal.
We've got some questions coming in, so put in the comments what questions you want to ask Freddie, and I'll put them to him on screen. So get those in. I'm going to go to the first one from Anthony Howard. He says here, are you ready to get puled again at home?
We can't have another humiliating defeat to Claude Puel. I think that would be even more embarrassing if we go down once again for all of the stick that we gave them the season before last. It seems like such a long time ago. We're going for another dire manager. But I think we need to follow your slogan at the weekend, and Foxes never quit. I think Saints should never quit against Claude Puel. We need to go for it and start quickly.
He did seem to enjoy it last season in that win. But here's another question for you. Somebody from the 100% team is saying, Freddie, do the Saints fans fancy their chances on Saturday?
I think we're quietly confident. It all depends about how we start, though, of course. As I just said, you know, we've started slowly in the last 2 games. We need to come up the traps quickly. And I think home win, home advantage, you've got to say, we've got to put that behind us as well and become sort of a 12th man. I think it's a need to win this week and not quite a must win. I think perhaps people are already starting to panic a little bit, but we're only 3 games in almost. I think if we get a win at the weekend, a draw against Burnley and a draw against Crystal Palace away from home, you'd probably say that's satisfactory.
Yeah, I agree. Here's the next question for you from Andrew Turlington. He says, I've told you before we came on camera, I said not every Leicester fan is a fan of Puel. Trust me, we're not all fans of Puel. He says, do you want Puel back?
Nope.
Well,
no, thanks.
No thanks to Puel, are you sure?
Yeah,
here's another
100%.
One. Jackson Hill says the same. Would you take Puel back? Jason Clare says, are you chuffed that Vardy's out?
Vardy's a big miss. Yeah, advantage us, you've got to say. We've got to go into this game with a little bit of advantage. All the goals more or less coming from Jamie Vardy. You know, Jamie Vardy, quick forward, getting in behind, and perhaps that's where our weakness is. We've got a bit of a slow defence, a couple of slow centre-backs. We missed Yannick Vestergaard's presence at Everton, the 6'7" giant of him. You know, I think he was quite impressive against Burnley, and he's a bit on the slow side, but his aerial ability and his strength, I'm sure I hope to see him back at the weekend. And perhaps Jack Stevens and Wesley Hoot aren't on the quick side either. So Jamie Vardy missing, big plus for us, big advantage.
Jackson Hill says, do you think Saints should have spent some more money on bigger names in the summer?
Oh, don't even go there. That was brought up on the fans forum on Thursday night. Why don't we spend the money? Why don't we go for £30 million, £40 million player? Well, simply because it's not a strategy. Les Reed, director of football, said that quite honestly on Thursday night. He said that's not a strategy. We won't go for these bigger players. And you've seen the likes of yourselves, perhaps West Ham, Everton, breaking the bank. I don't think Saints will ever go for a 30 million, 40 million pounds unless the money suddenly starts to go even crazier than what it already is.
Karen is just saying hi from America, formerly from Leicester. Make sure it's good, fair calls made kind of game. Leicester till she dies, she says. Matt Byrne says, what's happened to Redmond? Thought he was the next big thing.
Well, I think Claude Puel tried to morph him into the next Thierry Henry when he signed him.
So you're blaming
that never
Puel?
went down well.
So you're blaming
Puel?
Well,
we'll blame. It's a cheap shot, Phil. Come on, you've got to take him.
Yeah.
No, I think, to be honest, Nathan Redmond, he's a confident player. Last season, he didn't have the best of seasons. Well, nobody had a good season last season for Saints, but we managed to stay up. But Nathan Redmond scored a goal at the end of last season. Perhaps that's given him a little bit of confidence. And he's been away for summer, worked hard, and he's come back fighting for a place in the team. And I think that's all we need, a bit of confidence, someone to pat him on the back, put the arm around his shoulder, like we saw him with Pep Guardiola last season at the Etihad. I think Redmond, he may even be starting this weekend. He started at Everton. Perhaps he hasn't fulfilled a lot of his potential yet, but he's certainly got some ability still in the bank, and I hope he does fulfill it at Southampton.
Here's a question. Don't forget, keep getting your questions in, put them in the comments, and we can share them to Freddie. Mark Pinder says, who do you think is going to finish higher this season out of Leicester and Saints? In honesty.
It's going to be difficult. Anyone below sort of 7th is a relegation candidate, including Leicester, Saints. Anyone else below that sort of bracket, I think Everton would be a bit too far ahead to even drop into the bottom half. I think Leicester, it all depends if you keep Claude Puel, to be honest. But I think Saints would be satisfied with a mid-table finish, and I think perhaps so are Leicester fans. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it got a bit close for you guys towards the end of last season, and I think you're absolutely spot on, Freddie. I think for both clubs, the thing they need to achieve quickest is 30-something points, and then see where the season goes, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 40 is no longer the safety, is it? We barely stayed up on 36 last season, and I think that was one of the lowest ever in Premier League history, and that also shows you an example of how wide the bracket is and how wide the competition is between top 6 and the rest of the table.
Karen says you can have Puel back for free. Please, please take him. Not every Leicester fan wants you to have Puel back. Here's a challenge to Leicester fans. Somebody put in the comments below that you want Puel to stay. Let's have a hashtag Puel in. We don't see many of them. It's normally hashtag Puel out up here, Freddie. But here's your next question. Jason says, Freddie, if Saints could have brought 2 current Leicester players, which ones would you pick?
First one, easy one for me, is James Maddison. We missed out on him. We was massively linked with him in the summer, and I said to you on our show just before this, the chat from Talk Norwich City, Jack, he couldn't stop talking about James Maddison. Such a great player, young, hungry, skillful. Seems like he can play all across that forward line, and really, I think it would be brilliant for Southampton. I think at the end of the day, the wages, perhaps Leicester offered a bit more. As for another, I think I've got to say Harry Maguire. I think we're missing a sort of big physical strength at the back alongside sort of Yannick Vestergaard, and I think Harry Maguire, next big thing for England, really, isn't he?
Did you not really replace Van Dijk when he went?
Well, the theory is that Vestergaard is finally the replacement. Since he left, we've not really had that sort of aerial ability, that strength, that domination at the back. And with Vestergaard at 6'7", you think you've got to put 2 and 2 together. And Van Dijk's a massive miss. I'm sure he'll go on to do much bigger things with Liverpool.
Matt Byrne says, thanks for your response. He was the guy who asked you about Redmond. He says, thanks for your response about Redmond. But he then says, now look at my picture. Do you ever think you'll get a picture with that?
No, the closest I got was the Europa League about 2 years ago when we were just in the group stages. But I think Leicester, a fantastic achievement, but I don't think it's ever going to happen, perhaps in our lifetimes ever again.
Matt Byrne says Puel in, building for the future. There you go. There's one. But John Connolly is Puel out. Andrew Turlington again. He just feels Pueled. Bailey says Puel needs to stay. When was the last time we were as active in the transfer window with some of the names we got? Benkovic, Evans, Maddison, and so on. He's doing a good job at the minute. I would agree with Bailey. Got to give him a chance. Who have we got to watch out for you, Freddie? That's my question to you. I quite fancied Danny Ings coming to Leicester, so I feel we should have signed another striker at Leicester. Vardy's out this week, as we talked. We've not got loads of choices. Danny Ings has been doing quite well for you, hasn't he?
Yeah, came on, made a against Burnley, came deep, wanted the ball at every opportunity, came back into our own half against Burnley at St Mary's, and then scored on his full debut at the weekend against Everton. I think he's perhaps one of a few players that left in this world that really die hard for the club. He's a local lad, grew up down the road, and I think he's loving his time already at Southampton. People are warming to him, and I think Danny Ings is raring to go, hungry to score some more goals and hungry to stay fit, to be quite honest.
Jason Hughes, let me just pop it up on screen here, says, but I think this applies to Leicester as well. He says, do you think Saints have stopped being a feeder club to Liverpool? It must frustrate you, the amount of quality over the past 10 years, Freddie, that's come out of Southampton. Not just to Spurs, it's gone to Arsenal, it's gone to Liverpool. Man United, yeah. Mm-hmm. I think Leicester is still a feeder club, to an extent, but it must frustrate you, that.
Yeah, it does. It exhausts us to a point of desperation, But I think perhaps we've taken all our assets and we've got no assets left to give to Liverpool anymore.
Here's a question for you. Jackson Hill saying, do you think Pickford should have received a card for the challenge on Danny Ings?
That's a hot debate. I think he should have been given a red card, or at least a yellow card. The argument is that he got the ball first, but it's the manner that he got it. He was out of control, off his feet. It's a karate kick at the end of the day, and ripped his shirt and scarred his back. So I think it was dangerous. It was dangerous tackle, a dangerous attempt, whatever you want to call it. But I think he should have been cautioned at the very least.
Jordan Moore asks you, Freddie. I love that. I think that all the questions. I've not had to do any preparation for tonight because the fans are just putting them out there. But Jordan Moore says, with Vardy being out for the game against Southampton, who are you fearing most from our squad to face?
Two names. Chap that we would love to have here as well, James Maddison. Looks like he's setting the world alight already. Hit the ground running, scored a goal at the weekend. But another player that perhaps was a bit of a thorn on our side was to play for Man City, Kelechi Iheanacho. Scored 2 goals against us in the year that we won sort of 4-2 from that comeback. So I think Iheanacho, perhaps one to watch too.
Pam Lovett says she's a Leicester fan. She lives in Southampton. She can see the stadium from her house, and her husband Mick, son Stephen, and Andrew will be at the match at the weekend. So that's nice. She lives down near, I was going to say the Dell, but of course it's St Mary's. I live in 1987, I think. That's my trouble.
You still go to Filbert Street then, Phil?
I still call it Filbert Street. They can call it what they like. They can call it the Walker Stadium. They can call it the King Power Stadium. I still say I'm going down Filbo. Bailey says, long shot, but Iheanacho and a call-up for Diabate unless Gray and Iheanacho. But I want to see Giselle on that wing. From the clips on YouTube, he does look very good. We've not seen much of this new Algerian guy, Freddie, but he could do some damage. We're always going to do score predictions. So if anybody wants to put in the comments what their score predictions are, Freddie, go on, give us who you think is going to maybe score the first goal and what the final score is going to be.
All right, I'll start with the first goal then. I think we've got to go for Danny Ings. He's probably one of the favourites, if not the favourite to score. I think he's got to be in line to start once again. I've got to go for a home win. We have to win this game. It's a need to win. If there isn't a win, then perhaps a little bit of pressure and a bit of anxiety amongst the Saints fans.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying there. I think for Leicester, We've got Liverpool, who look rampant. We've got them the following week. I'd certainly like us to get at least a point, maybe 3, of course. I'm going to go for Maddison to score, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Leicester, I think. It's been great having you on here. I'm just going to read out a few of the final comments. Jason Clare says he used to live opposite the Dell off Milton Road, but he's a Leicester fan. Jackson asks you another question. He said, would you rather face Jamie Vardy running at you or James Maddison from outside the box?
I've got to say, James Maddison. I think McCarthy's looked quite strong over the last 2 games, and also the sort of half of last season. So I think I would fancy my chances for Alex McCarthy to save a Maddison shot rather than Vardy breaking through 1-on-1.
We've got a mixed bag of responses here. I'm just popping them up on screen. I'm going to guess that Jake Regan is a Saints fan. Either that or a very pessimistic Leicester fan. Phil Ward, hi for watching. Phil says 2-0 to Leicester. Somebody from the 100% team is going boring 0-0. You never know. We've seen them before.
Seen plenty of those with Clubwell.
Paris says 2-1 to Leicester. Josh says 3-1 with Maddison. Andrew, though, is going for a 1-1 ball draw. There are chances that it could suit both teams to just squeeze another point on the board. Just popping them all up on the screen here. Lots and lots. Hello to Wiggo, as ever. Can you just shout Wiggo to me, Freddie?
Wiggo.
That's brilliant. It won't mean anything to you, but it means a lot to me. Owen says hello. Jake Regan says, yes, come on, you Reds. Good grief.
Hello, Jake.
One of your boys sneaked onto 100% LCFC. Freddie, tell us, where can we catch up with you guys, your fanzine?
Yeah, you can catch us on the uglyInside.net, which is our sort of message board fanzine, and all our stories and articles are over there. You can catch us on YouTube. The link is just there, bottom of the screen. We're also on the other social means, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search Ugly Inside. We're all there.
Brilliant, Freddie. It's been absolutely brilliant. I think you're very brave to come up. And thanks to all the Leicester fans and Saints fans who've been on here. Nobody's said anything stupid, which is just nice. We're 2 nice clubs, aren't we, Freddie?
Yes.
Probably too nice being the optimum word. Anyway, thanks for joining us. And thanks to everybody who's been watching. If you can like and share the video, that'd be great. See you soon, Freddie.
Cheers, Phil.
Cheers, everybody.